Have you ever stared at a warm slice of cornbread, steam curling up like a memory of Sunday dinners, and felt your heart sink because the doctor said, "No more"? That was Margaret every evening in her little St. Augustine bungalow. At 72, she still set the table for two, herself and the ghost of her late husband, Tom, then pushed the bread basket away. Her blood sugar meter blinked angry red numbers. 180, 210, once 250 after a single baked potato. The grandkids were coming for Thanksgiving, and the thought of skipping her famous cornbread dressing twisted her stomach worse than any spike. Margaret wasn't just fighting numbers on a screen. She was fighting loneliness, tradition, and the quiet fear that diabetes would steal the last joys of her kitchen. She tried the no-carb pamphlets her doctor handed out, but lettuce-wrapped sadness wasn't supper. She needed real food, rice with gravy, potatoes with butter, bread that soaked up pot roast juices, without the roller coaster crashes that left her shaky and napping through jeopardy. Here's the secret she discovered, the one I'm sharing with you today. You can keep those beloved staples on your plate and still wake up to steady, gentle mornings. No deprivation, no guilt, just smarter science wrapped around the meals you already love. And because I've walked beside thousands of seniors like Margaret for over 30 years, I'll show you exactly how she turned dread into delight. One cooled potato, one clever pairing, one short stroll at a time. Before we start, a gentle reminder. I'm not your personal physician. Please talk with your doctor, especially if you take insulin, metformin, or blood thinners, before trying these changes. Medicare covers dietitian visits. Use them. Margaret's journey begins with a simple pot of rice that changed everything. What do you miss most at your table? Drop it in the comments below. I read every one, and your story might help the next reader. Margaret's rice cooker hissed like an old friend every Sunday, filling the house with the smell of jasmine and childhood. Yet every Monday, her meter punished her. 195, 220, once 268 after 2 innocent scoops. She blamed the rice, then the gravy, then herself. "I'm 72, she muttered, "not dead. Why can't I eat like a normal person?" The doctor's answer, cut all starches, felt like a prison sentence served on a paper plate. Then came the real sting. Thanksgiving prep. She boiled potatoes for salad the night before, let them cool on the porch because the fridge was stuffed with turkey. Next day she reheated a small bowl, added mayo and celery, and ate it with a strip of dark meat skin. Meter 2 hours later, 142. She stared, blinked, tested again. 140. Same potatoes, same kitchen, different number. The rice cooker experiment followed. Cook, cool overnight, reheat gently. Result, 138 instead of 210. Margaret's hands shook, not from low sugar, but from hope. Here's why it works, plain and simple. When you cook starchy foods, rice, potatoes, even day-old cornbread, the starch swells into a soft gel. Cool it slowly in the fridge, and that gel hardens into crystals your small intestine can grab. Those crystals slide to the large intestine where friendly bacteria throw a party, making butyrate, a natural anti-inflammatory that calms insulin resistance and feeds colon cells. One cooled medium potato delivers about 3 to 5 grams of resistant starch. Freshly boiled gives almost 0. Elderly guts are picky, though. Too much cold rice at once can bloat you like a balloon. Margaret learned the hard way. 3 cups straight from the fridge sent her to the bathroom for an hour. Lesson? Start small. 1/2 cup cooled rice or 1 small cooled potato per meal. Freeze extras in single portions. Label with a Sharpie so you don't microwave them to mush. Heat destroys the crystals. Gentle oven at 300 degree hours for 10 minutes, or a quick sauté and a teaspoon of olive oil keeps the magic alive. Common mistake, thinking leftover equals resistant. It must cool below 40 degrees for at least 12 hours. 24 is better. Margaret's neighbor reheated straight from room temperature and wondered why her sugar still climbed. Another trap, drowning cooled starches in sugary sauces. A tablespoon of brown sugar on reheated sweet potato cancels every benefit. For folks on metformin, resistant starch can lower the dawn phenomenon, those mysterious morning highs. But if you're on warfarin, go slow. Sudden fiber jumps thicken blood slightly for a day or two. Track it. Tell your doctor. Margaret taped a new rule above her stove. Cook once, cool once, love twice. The conflict wasn't the rice, it was eating it hot and lonely. Next came the family potluck where Cousin Ray brought store-bought rolls, and Margaret faced her biggest test yet. The potluck table groaned under fried chicken, collards, and Ray's fluffy white rolls still warm in their foil. Margaret's meter sat in her purse like a loaded gun. She'd brought her own cooled potato salad, vinegar sharpened, studded with celery and a spoon of real mayo, but the rolls sang to her. One wouldn't kill her, right? She tore one open, steam curling, butter melting. Bite, swallow, smile for the cousins. 2 hours later in the bathroom, she pricked. 248. Tears stung hotter than the vinegar. That night she couldn't sleep. The roll had been a grenade. She needed armor, not willpower. The next morning she poured 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar into a glass of water, grimaced, drank it down. Then she rebuilt breakfast. Cooled steel-cut oats from the fridge, reheated with a pat of butter, topped with black beans and a squeeze of lemon. Meter at 2 hours, 1:18. She laughed so loud the cat bolted. Here's the twist that flipped everything. Acid, vinegar, lemon, lime, even pickled okra juice slams the brakes on starch digestion. It drops the stomach's pH, slowing the enzyme amylase that turns starch to sugar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar before a starchy meal can cut the glucose spike by 20–30%. Pair it with protein and fat, and you're looking at 50% less area under the curve. Margaret's new formula: 1 part cooled starch plus 1 part protein plus 1 part healthy fat plus 1 splash acid, freedom. Real-life proof sat in her logbook. Tuesday, cooled rice plus grilled chicken thigh plus olive oil drizzle plus vinegar slaw, 124. Wednesday, same rice naked with ketchup seeds, 196. Same rice, different armor. She started carrying a tiny bottle of vinaigrette in her purse, like other grandmas carry mints. At the diner, she asked for lemon wedges with her hash browns. Waitress raised an eyebrow. Margaret just winked. Common mistake, thinking acid means heartburn in a bottle. Start with 1 teaspoon diluted in 8 ounces of water if reflux is your enemy. Balsamic is gentler than white. Dill pickle juice works in a pinch. Another trap, dumping acid on after the damage. Sip it 10 minutes before the first bite or weave it into the dish. For folks on PPIs or with ulcers, skip the vinegar and lean on fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, a spoon of yogurt. One study of Southern seniors showed a daily ounce of refrigerated sauerkraut juice matched vinegar-AS glucose benefits without the burn. Margaret's biggest revelation came at the church fish fry. She ate catfish first, coleslaw with extra vinegar, then 1 small hush puppy last. Meter, 132. The room spun, not from sugar, but from possibility. She texted her daughter, "Bring the kids next weekend. Grandma's making rice and beans." Share this twist with someone who thinks carbs are the enemy. Hit that share button so they can taste freedom too. Margaret's victory at the fish fry lasted exactly 4 days. Then came the Tuesday night special at Denny's. Senior skillet, hash browns, sausage, toast, only $6.99. The grandkids begged, she caved. Bread basket arrived first. She nibbled half a slice while waiting, then polished off the skillet. Mita at bedtime, 188. She woke at 3 a.m. with dry mouth and a pounding head. The old shame crept back. I can't even eat out like a normal person. The real enemy wasn't the restaurant, it was the order. Carbs first, junk rocket fuel. Protein and veggies first. Parachute. Margaret taped a new card inside her menu folder. Veggies, protein, carbs. At the next diner, she asked the waitress to bring salad and eggs before the pancakes. The cook grumbled, but Margaret's meter sang 134. She tipped double. Next hurdle, her knees. Arthritis flared after 10 minutes of walking the dog. The doctor had warned, no impact, yet every expert said, walk after meals. Margaret refused to surrender. She discovered the silver sneakers seated workout on YouTube, leg lifts, ankle circles, arm pumps, right in her recliner. 10 minutes while Wheel of Fortune loaded. Glucose dropped 35 points. She texted her girlfriend Ruth. Chair dancing counts.
Here's the formula she lived by. 1. Eat within 30 minutes of cooking or reheating cooled starch. 2. Finish veggies and protein in the first 15 minutes. 3. Allow 5 to 10 minutes for carbs last. 4. Move within 5 minutes of the final bite. Walk, chair march, or stair step in place. Real-life comparison. Restaurant fail. Bread, skillet, couch, 188. Restaurant win. Salad, eggs, 2 bites pancake, 3 laps around the parking lot, 129.
Common mistake, waiting until dessert to eat carbs. By then, your stomach's already emptying fast. Another trap, skipping the move because I'm too full. Even 5 slow steps to the mailbox burns glucose. For wheelchair users or oxygen tank friends, try pump and breathe. Seated, pump arms like jogging for 2 minutes. Rest 1, repeat 5 times. One study of nursing home residents showed it matched a slow walk for glucose control. Margaret's final restaurant hack, order family style. Everyone shares the protein platter first. Carbs arrive late. The grandkids think it's a game. She thinks it's survival. Next challenge loomed on the horizon. Midnight ice cream cravings and the seductive glow of the fridge light. Subscribe now so you don't miss how Margaret conquered the late-night monster and finally slept through the night. The fridge light at 11:17 p.m. used to be Margaret's siren song. A spoonful of Rocky Road, a leftover roll, anything to quiet the loneliness. The meter punished her every dawn, 170, 185, once 202. She blamed grief, then boredom, then herself. The real culprit was timing. Her body's insulin clock had punched out for the night. Margaret drew a red line on the kitchen clock. No food after 7 p.m. Dinner at 6. Dishes done by 6:30. Chamomile tea at 6:45. First week she paced like a caged cat. Second week she added a new ritual, oat bran muffin baked Sunday, cooled, sliced, frozen. One muffin reheated at 5:30 p.m. with peanut butter and a side of broccoli killed the midnight urge. Meter at 6 a.m. 112. Here's the science in grandma terms. After 6 p.m., your muscles slack off, your liver keeps pumping glucose, and melatonin tells the pancreas, go to sleep. Result. Same slice of bread at 8 p.m. spikes twice as high as at noon. One large study of Florida retirees showed eating dinner before 6 p.m. dropped average fasting glucose by 18 mg/dl in 8 weeks. Margaret's daily checklist taped beside the red line, breakfast, cooled steel-cut oats, plus egg, plus lemon water, lunch, cooled potato, plus tuna, plus vinegar slaw, dinner by 6, cooled rice, plus chicken, plus greens, 10-minute chair march after every plate, bed by 10, meter by 7. She swapped white grits for stone-ground yellow cornmeal cooked the night before, cooled, reheated, topped with black beans and a fried egg. Glycemic load half of instant grits. Fiber kept her regular, a quiet victory at 72. Common mistake. One bite won't hurt. It hurts double after dark. Another trap. Diet soda with dinner. Artificial sweeteners still trigger insulin. Sparkling water with lime became her new nightcap. For folks on night shift meds or sleeping pills, shift the cutoff 2 hours before your usual bedtime. If heartburn wakes you, keep a cooled banana by the bed. Potassium settles the stomach without a spike. 6 months in, Margaret's A1C slid from 7.8 to 6.1. Doctor cut her metformin dose. Grandkids noticed Grandma danced to the radio again. The resolution wasn't a miracle, it was a rhythm. Cool, pair, order, move, stop. The fridge light still glowed, but now it lit up jars of cooled rice and hope. One final tweak waited, turning her kitchen wisdom into legacy before the next family reunion. Margaret stood at the head of the reunion table, apron crisp, hands steady. The spread looked like every Florida potluck she'd ever hosted. Cornbread, rice and beans, potato salad, collards, and a pitcher of lemon water. Nothing low carb, nothing forbidden. Yet her meter read 108 2 hours after seconds. The kids asked for her magic recipe. She smiled and slid over a laminated card titled, Grandma's 5 Rules. 1. Cool it once, love it twice. Cook rice, potatoes, or cornbread the night before. Fridge 24 hours, reheat gently. 2. Dress it, don't drown it. 1 TBSP vinegar or lemon in every starch dish. 3. Order like a boss. Greens and meat first, starch last. 4. Move 5, drop 35. Chair march, porch steps, or mall stroll within 5 minutes of the last bite. Pui clock out by 7. Last bite 3 hours before bed. She watched her niece copy the rules into her phone. Her brother-in-law pocket a cooled muffin for tomorrow. The same foods, smarter dance. No deprivation, just rhythm. Here's your takeaway in one breath. Staples stay, spikes go. Cool to create resistant starch, pair with protein and fat. Add acid, eat in order, move right after, finish early. 6 small habits, 1 big life. Start tonight. Pick one rule, maybe cool tomorrow's rice, and log your meter for a week. Jot the numbers on a sticky note. Watch the curve flatten. Tell your doctor at the next Medicare wellness visit. Bring the log. Most plans cover a dietitian consult. Use it. Imagine your own reunion table 6 months from now. Laughter, seconds, steady numbers. That's the payoff. Which rule will you try first? Comment, cool, pair, order, move, 7, or all below. I'll reply with a quick recipe. Share this video with the friend who swears carbs are poison. Let Margaret prove them wrong. Hit subscribe so the next tip lands in your inbox before the next family dinner. You're not too old to rewrite the ending. The kitchen light is on, the rice is cooling, and tomorrow tastes like freedom.